Okay. The podcast now begins.
Yay.
Welcome, guys, back to the Honors Podcast. I am your host, and today with me, I have one of my dearest friends. Would you like to introduce yourself for our listeners?
Welcome to the Honors Podcast.
My name's Tessa. I'm a dual degree in theater performance and music with a concentration in voice.
And what are you involved in around campus? What's the resume?
What's the resume? I work campus concierge. That's a big one. I'm currently vice president for Alpha Psi Omega, which is our honors theater fraternity. I'm also on the EC board for botany. I do their social media, botany club.
Yeah.
And I'm in a few other clubs and honor societies as well.
That's really great. We're going to start off with some philosophy and have a conversation. So do you consider yourself intelligent?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. How do you define intelligence then?
I think there's definitely a factor of school smarts, but then also like common sense
Yeah.
of, yes, I can get an A in this class, but I can also know that I should not go outside during a tornado warning where they say shelter in place. So I think it's like a mix of all of that.
Yeah. And in prepping for this episode, I was thinking about some conversations we've had before. And I was thinking about how, like, your own definition of intelligence, because, for honors kids, being smart is like one of your personality factors most of the time. But your own definition of intelligence changes from when you're a kid to when you're an adult. And lots of people end up feeling like less smart when they're an adult because the cliche saying of like they realize how much they don't know.
Yeah.
But then that also makes them more smart because they have that self-awareness. So that's really the thing. Do you have any thoughts on like the change from how we view intelligence when we're young and in school to versus like an adult getting ready to go out of college? Oh, it died.
Oh. Well, I think as a kid, it's also dependent on who you look up to. Because you're like, if you don't know something and somebody teaches you something new, you're like, oh my God, that person's so smart. They're like my new role model.
Yeah.
But then once you get older, you start comparing that to yourself rather than, because I feel like when I was a kid, I wasn't like, oh, I'm so smart or, oh, I'm so stupid. I was just like, okay, I'm having fun and I like learning what I'm learning. And I think other people are really smart right now. But when it transfers over into what you're like thinking about for yourself, I think that's where it changes and people become more critical.
Yeah. Yeah, because so with self-awareness comes self-criticism.
Yeah.
That's good. What were you curious about when you were younger and like what was fun to you about life and learning?
Oh, well, I've always liked theater, of course. But outside of that, I was a really big math person. I liked working with numbers and I liked being outside and like playing games, and I would collect rocks because I liked looking at all the different types of rocks that I could find and learning about those. And I would chase frogs.
I did too. Another thing about it, did you ever eat them and cook
No.
them? We would hunt frogs and like cook frog legs, and they taste like chicken. It's like chewy chicken.
I've heard that, but I also am not a big fan of chicken. So
This is true. Tessa is a known picky eater. That's good. I guess we need some context. Where did you grow up and what was that like?
Oh, I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, like the outskirts of the city. My neighborhood's very like woody.
Yeah.
There's lots of trees and animals. We have deer. The deer are always fun. Not so much now that I can drive, but when I didn't have to worry about it, they were great. We have foxes and bats. Bats are fun. The bats like my pool.
The bats like your pool?
Yeah. Last year at my birthday party, me and my friends were in the pool because I just have pool parties now. And the bats started like diving down to drink the water out of the pool while we were swimming. It was really freaky.
Like they like just swoop in like birds and
They like just because we couldn't tell if it was a bird or a bat at first, but it was a bat, and they just swoop in, drink some water, and leave.
I didn't know. Bats are so mysterious because like no one really knows how they function. You don't really learn about it. There's a lot of horror stories about bats in my family because they've flown into the house before, and like there's big bats in my areas, like the like 5 foot plus wingspan.
Oh no,
and they're huge. But then like we have the like not
fruit
the bat houses
Oh,
that we like hang because it's good to support them, and they're really good at eating the insects and stuff in the air.
yes.
This is great for the summer. Okay, is there anything else we need to know about the context of how you grew up that informs who you are today? And let's get into theater and things if you want.
I mean, well, with theater, I've just always loved it. My mom's favorite story is when I was in kindergarten. I've always been a little more quiet in classes. Like I usually won't talk unless you make me. But we were doing a show, and it was like a little pageant, and everybody got a part. And my teacher was like, "Who would like to be this character in this show, or like be in this, or wants like a speaking role?" And I raised my hand before she even finished like asking the question. I was like, "Ooh, me." And she told my mom that story, and it's still like the funniest thing that my mom likes to tell people when they ask how I got into theater, because we're like, I don't know. She just raised her hand one day and was the first one up after being quiet for the whole year. But then my family's always been very supportive of what I've wanted to do, which I think has been very helpful, because I know sometimes like people going into theater don't always have supportive families, so it's hard for them to major or try to build a career out of it.
What is your career goals? What do you hope to do?
Ultimately, I would love to do like film and television, but I'm like really okay with anything. Like put me on a stage, you can put me behind a camera. I'll even teach it if I have to. I just want it to like still be involved in my life in some way as I grow up.
Even after all these 20 plus years, what is it about it that keeps you doing it?
I think because it's always something different. Like, yes, acting is acting and you have to act in order to be in a show, but you're always going to be a different character living in a different world with different scenarios, and it's always changing. So it's not like I go into work today and I act this character, and then 3 years later I go in and I act the same character.
Yeah.
I mean, I could, but it wouldn't be like for the whole entire 3 years. Like something's always moving with it.
Yeah. And I've always liked, because I got into acting much later, not until high school, but I've always been like interested in it. Like I always like loved watching Disney Channel and stuff,
Yeah.
and be like, oh, I want to be on a Disney Channel show. That'd be so fun. And something I later learned that I now also love about it is that it is so different, and that it allows you to learn so many different things about like history, different skill sets. Like if you have to like learn how to do a knife fight for a show, you get to learn those skills. And you like learn different histories, especially if you're playing like period pieces about real people and like historical dramas. Like you get to learn about that history, and like when else would you get to do that?
Yeah. I also like that you get to learn about different characters, because the characters you play are never going to have the same personality as you or grow up from the same background. So it's kind of, I mean, they're not always real people, so it's not technically putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, but it's learning how that certain type of person grew up and putting yourselves in like a stereotypical set of shoes, I guess.
Yeah. Is there a character like that sticks with you?
I have so many favorite characters because I genuinely love all of the ones I've played. One of my most recent ones that was my favorite was Karen from Mean Girls. And she's like, you don't always think that some characters have a lot of depth to them, especially when they are portrayed as dumb literally all the time. But then you like learn like, oh, well, she's kind of been a background character her whole life, being friends with Regina, and she's never like really had her own personality as well. Like she's dumb and that's it. But then she's also always following behind someone else and doesn't know how to be her own person. So things like that, I guess.
That's good. Do you take any lessons from that you apply to Tessa Lamb's life?
Lessons from that. I mean, I feel like I've always been very independent. So, like, of course, I still work towards that, like trying not to have to follow somebody around all the time is definitely something, or like being able to form my own opinions.
Yeah.
But I started that way too.
Nice. Okay. So you kept growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, go through high school, still doing theater. When was the passion for music coming in?
So I got into an honors choir. So I went to a creative arts elementary school, which is kind of also where all this stemmed from. But in the 3rd grade, we needed an honors choir because our school got invited to sing for this ceremony where like people become citizens. That one, we sang the national anthem. So I got invited to be a part of that honors choir, and I've been doing choir on and off ever since, depending on like what my school offers, because I did choir in the 3rd grade and the 4th grade, but then I moved schools in the 5th grade and they didn't offer it until the 6th grade. So I did it then, but then I moved schools and I couldn't get into the class for the 7th grade because it was full. So I didn't do it again until 9th grade. And then I've been in choir since 9th grade.
That's great. And then, oh my gosh, my train of thought. Okay. And then I guess tracking to senior year of high school, what was kind of the college journey looking like? And how did you end up at High Point University?
So I went to a college preparatory school.
Hashtag me too.
But part of our curriculum was, instead of going on normal field trips to like aquariums or zoos or anything, we went to college tours.
Oh.
So every year in high school, we'd go to like 2 or 3 different tours. So I think High Point was either my sophomore year or my junior year. I came with my school and I was like, oh my gosh, this place is amazing and beautiful. And I loved all the cool different things it had. And so my junior year, I had gotten my mom to come tour it with me because I kept talking about it and she had never heard of it before. So I was like, okay, well, we can go. I only live an hour away.
Yeah.
And then I applied to 14 schools.
Hashtag me too.
Because with theater, they're like, oh, more is better, because some schools you have to apply academically and get in academically, but then you also have to audition and get into the program with your audition, which isn't the case here.
Yeah.
But in other schools. And so I toured a lot of colleges, and none of them really left the same impression on me as the High Point tour. Me and my mom are also very big people. I'm even like yelling at myself when I say here in my head, because if you say it so many times, you just sound like you don't know what you're talking about. And I was trained for public speaking through Girl Scouts, so it like itches my brain the wrong way when I hear people go. And this building over here is the theater, and they do so many shows a year. And we were sitting through so many like online college tours or just walking around in person where that's how they were talking. And then I got a pet peeve for it. But that was not my experience here, which was great. And I also got to meet a lot of people in the different communities. So before I like decided on college, I met with Dr. Hedman. We had a great little conversation about the catapults I was building in physics that year. And then I also met with Doug Brown, who is, you know this, but other people might not, the head of the theater department. And I also got to meet with Dr. Foster, who's the head of the music department, and talk about all the different classes I could take and the different opportunities that we would have. And I just felt like there was such a great community. I got to meet with Jay Putnam too beforehand because we went to see one of his shows. So before we went to see his show, we had a like conversation with him, and I got to meet with a bunch of students and have conversations with them. And I'm a really big community person, and I just felt that there was such a strong community here that I was really drawn towards it.
So you were looking at High Point and already considering like honors from the beginning?
No.
No?
So I originally applied to the Creative Arts Fellows because I didn't know what honors was at first. And then I came in for orientation, and that's when I had my meeting with Dr. Hedman, because my mom was like, you should look at this too, because this is also a great opportunity and there's less gen ed credits, so it'll be easier to fit my double major in 4 years and still be able to take extra classes of what I wanted as well. So I read all the class descriptions that were online, and then I had a meeting with Dr. Hedman to learn more about the program, and then I went in and applied then. So I was actually a really late applicant because I had applied after they had already sent out their original letters of like, oh, you got accepted. So basically I got a letter back like, oh, you're on the wait list. Like if somebody says they aren't coming to High Point, you're in. And 2 days later, I got an acceptance letter into the honors program, which was really funny because my online portal updated before I got the mail. So I got the update for the wait list on my online portal. I got the update that I got in on my online portal. And then in the mail, I then got the update that I was on the wait list. And I was like, okay, I'm going to trust it online because I know mail takes a while. So it was really exciting because I really did not have high chances because I applied after they had already accepted everybody.
Yeah. And then are you glad that you did honors now as a
Yes.
senior?
I do. I like all the classes, and I like that, like the combination of it all. Especially for my first one, Here Be Dragons, we had 3 different teachers and 3 different types of classes, and I was learning things that I probably wouldn't have signed up to do gen eds for if it was just a normal class. Like part of that class was a Buddhism and Hinduism section that I don't think I ever would have learned about if I wasn't in honors, because that's just not what I think I would take if I had to do a normal religion class.
What do you appreciate about honor that kind of bleeds over into theater and music, and then just how you live your life in general as well?
There's something about like how everybody works together. A lot of the honors classes I'm I've taken at least, we're doing a lot of group work and group projects, and there's not a lot of stuff that is like solely by yourself other than maybe a final paper here and there. And I got to take a theater honors class, which was really fun because it's immersive theater, and we don't actually have a class like that offered just for theater majors. It's just an honors class, and that's the only way you can take immersive theater, which was really cool because I'd done something like that before because I used to work for the Carolina Renaissance Festival. So it was interesting to learn new things and tactics for that.
I'm just contemplating. It's just good answers all around. I'm trying to think of an appropriate segue into the history of music.
The history of music.
Yeah, something funny I've been finding about the podcast is like people don't know the origins of their field of study and like how it came about.
Oh.
And like music is interesting because that's also...
It's so old.
Yeah, and do you know when the first like archaeological evidence of like the existence of music is?
I think it's difficult to say just because it was probably around before writing was ever a thing.
Yeah.
I'm currently in a musicianship class, which is musicianship 4, and we are reading chapters about different types of music and different eras that music was in. And we just read the ancient Greece chapter. So it's been around as long as at least ancient Greek.
Yeah, based off my research I did yesterday for 30 minutes, and using different AI chatbots.
Oh,
supposedly, the archaeological evidence we currently have suggests that music predates even like language and like speaking at all. And like archaeologically, the oldest like musical instrument that we found is like the Neanderthal flute, which is made out of a bare bone from about 38,000 BC.
yeah. It's just music is not necessarily like really easy to make, but it's easy to come across because you can quite literally make music out of anything. Like there's people on YouTube who are in just a basic room and they'll have like a bathtub and a sink and like a kitchen counter or something, and they'll make music just from the objects that are in their room, which none of are technically a musical instrument classified, but it's still music. Like I could bang on the table in a beat, a rhythm, and it would be music technically speaking.
Yeah, but like why, like how do we identify that as music, and like why is it pleasing to us? Like why is that music and not just a bunch of noise?
Because it's if you create sound in a rhythmic pattern, I think that is something that could be classified as music. So even if it's just like and then people will add on to that, but you can easily do that with a counter and some water. And you know how you spin like the cups?
Yeah.
So it's just, I think it's less of a annoyance of sound and more of a how you put it together rhythmically of what changes it from just blobs of noise to music.
That's really good. I was gonna ask you, it was a stupid question, but I was gonna ask you like how would you explain music to an alien who had never heard of it? But that's kind of it. Like
Yeah, it's hard too because there's this song we've been talking about in my musicianship class. I want to say it's sometime. I want to say it's 433. Let me triple check.
yeah, you can play it for us if you want.
Oh, I so could, but it's you'll understand why if I don't if I explain it. Yes, it's called 433, and it's a piece by John Cage. I think, yes. John Cage. And it's quite literally, you put the music down on the piano and you sit in silence for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. And the music comes from the noise around you that's in the theater, or like the thoughts in your head, or even like the tapping of somebody's foot next to you, rather than the actual musical instrument. And it's inspired, I think, either by Buddhist or I want to say Buddha. Oh, I just said that wrong. Buddhism or Hinduism. But it's just like a moment to think and pay attention to your surroundings and listen, like actually take in and listen to what's around you. So
Sounds like Buddhism, because Buddhism is the one where they like focus on meditating. And
yeah. So it's kind of really hard to describe because like silence, like if you just sit here and listen to like the feedback of the mics from you breathing, that could count in that piece.
But is it music?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just me breathing. That's really annoying, but deep.
Oh.
That's deep. That's very like honors is like,
It's cool.
I think it is cool. And then that also makes me think about the future of music, because we're kind of in a weird time period of history, like 2026, where like we have like a century worth of music that is like recorded and we can access it, but we don't like intentionally access all of it. If you're like the layman consumer, like if you intentionally study music, then you probably know a lot more about music history and the different eras. And I was thinking about like how much is going to get archived and remembered 100 years from now, and like what's going to get lost, and like what are they going to think about the music of today, and like
Right.
what causes changes in music as society goes on, because everyone knows what music is, and like everyone makes music. I would say everyone listens to music too, but it's also different.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like the same reason on why people still listen to Bach or Mozart, but not other composers from that time period. And I think the real difference is more of the flow of the songs. Because, okay, we did Mozart's Requiem in choir my freshman year here, which, by the way, is a feat of a song to sing in one sitting. But it's just so crazy, but it's so technical that if you look at it, you're like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But then you get it and you're like, oh my God, I'm doing this. And it's so much fun, rather than just looking at it and being bored, and then being bored while singing it because it's not technically hard. And we're singing different notes and melismas for so many measures in Mozart, rather than just singing on the quarter note or just on one beat without really any change.
And then how is that? So that's like the past of music that we still access. So that's what's persevered. What do you think's what's your theory for what's gonna persevere from today? Or what are they gonna just think about music of today?
I don't know. I think it really depends on how much it changes again, because obviously there's a difference between music now and music from when Mozart was writing music.
Yeah.
But then there's not as huge of a difference from now versus like the 80s or the 70s. Like the same patterns are still generally there. And since we can listen to them, there's a lot of inspiration from their music, like in our music from their music, because like they don't have, or when music was first starting to get recorded, you didn't have recordings of older music to be inspired by. So it was all really a starting base unless you played the songs you were inspired by. But even then, you could be playing them wrong, like not wrong, but slower, faster than they were meant to be played. So I think that we're still probably going to have a bigger influence on the music to come just because it's recorded, and people who are becoming future musicians are listening to the music now and getting inspired by the music now, and they hear it and they're like, oh, I want to do that. And that's what they base it off of, rather than just looking at sheets of music and being like, I want to write this.
So do you think that makes it harder to be original or
Yes.
create difference in music?
I do think that it makes it harder to be because we actually also had this conversation in my musicianship class, because one of our books was talking about how nothing, like no work of art is truly original. And that goes back to like, well, then where did the first work of art come from? Where did the first piece of music come from if nothing's original? But it's because you're always taking things from your surroundings, and it's just going into the back of your mind, and you're thinking about it when you're trying to do your thing. So nothing is truly original, which there's some debate on, but
Yeah. There's like two debates of it. There's like what is original art, and then there's the whole like what even is art debate as well. And you get into stuff like Duchamp's Toilet and things like that. It was really interesting. And that was what my prog class was about. Well, that's kind of what they're all about, because it's all the aesthetics of art. But mine was really weird, because mine was the aesthetics of sport.
oh,
Yeah, with Dr. Winkle. And we were like talking about, the whole class was like seeing if we could argue if like sports are a form of art, if like sports are beautiful.
interesting.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like it's terrible, but there's a poetic documentary of, it's just a recorded soccer game, like following one player throughout the whole
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
There's like no narration or anything. It's just focused on, it was like a really famous Spanish soccer player at the time. So it wasn't like nobody, but it was just like, not like how soccer games are normally shot. It was like a cinematic, like on the ground camera, just like following this guy. But like, you didn't know what the score was. You didn't know like what other players were doing of the game. Like, it was just following this one guy. And it was like, it was really weird, but it was just like organically capturing the soccer match that was happening.
Yeah.
And we're like, is this art? And we got into a debate about it.
I think it can also still be something beautiful sports wise. I know when I went to Prague, we were walking around and we got to like the main square where it was all open, except it was all boarded and fenced off. And we were like, what is happening? And we walk around and there's a big screen and the boards are up to block like the sunlight from making it dull. And it's just like the whole community is out there in chairs and blankets in the middle of the town square watching a soccer game. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Like on a TV, they're just watching.
Yeah,
soccer.
it was like this giant projector that was just put in the middle of the square.
Wow. Yeah, because there's community in it, which is why Dr. Winkle really loves it. And like, there's community in all these things like that we've been talking about, like in the theater and like college, and then like honors too.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do we want that so much? Like, why do we need that? That's not rhetorical.
That's not rhetorical. I mean, I appreciate community. It's something I actively searched for when going to colleges, was a safe community and a healthy one, because it's good to surround yourself with people, like even if you don't have the same opinions or the same ideas, because it's how you help yourself grow as a person, to surround yourself with other people who have different ideas from you and come from different backgrounds than you, because you can learn from them. and being in a space with other people in a community that aren't exactly like you is very helpful to your growth as a person.
It's really nice. Okay. I have a throwback for you.
Throwback.
Yeah. So I have access to the Honors Challenge archive.
Oh,
Do you remember what your Kill the Noise challenge was?
my kill the noise? Is that where I had to get rid of my phone?
Yeah. And you have a picture of
Did I?
in this picture this is what you wrote. In this picture, I am killing the noise while reading an article for Here Be Dragons.
Yeah.
In order to kill the noise, I put my phone out of reach on the ceiling fan.
I taped it up there, or no, did I just put it on there?
I don't know. I just have this picture.
I don't have a picture of it. Oh yeah, it's just sitting on the ceiling fan. I couldn't reach it. I had my roommate Ava. She took that photo for me.
It's good. What was the article?
Oh, I don't know. That one was probably, I want to say, during Dr. Allen's portion of the class, because I feel like that was an earlier challenge.
Yeah.
And I was in her portion first.
Me too.
So it was probably something about English history,
Yeah.
like England, and
Yeah, it's like at the beginning of the book. And then you have your handbag in the back.
Yes, which is still hanging on my closet door, just a different closet door.
Yeah. You look really different. You've definitely grown up a lot, I think.
Yeah. Well, I've dyed my hair.
Yeah, but not even that. Like look at this one photo of you and Ethan.
Oh my God. That was so funny because Ethan was Mac's roommate. And at the time, Mac was always hanging out in our room with us. And I had yet to meet Ethan. So
He's a busy guy. He was a busy guy.
Yeah, he was really busy. But I was like stressing because I had already met a lot of the people on
you're known
our
for doing
hallway because so me and Ava freshman year they didn't have the automatic closing doors in Finch, or I don't know if they automatically closed, but they also didn't lock automatically when I started in Finch. So we would just leave the door open and say hi to all the people walking by. So I had already met a lot of people on my hallway. So I was stressing and I was like, I don't know who to meet. I don't know what to do. And Mac was like, well, my roommate's in his room right now. And I was like, great. And I actually think that was after, can I see the photo again? I think that was after one of my theater auditions that I took that. Am I in a red sweater?
Like a reddish, pinkish shirt.
Oh, no. Okay, so maybe it wasn't. It was after I had gotten back from something theater because it was really late at night. And it was like the day before, and I still couldn't figure out who on my hallway I hadn't met yet.
Yeah, that was freshman years. It was a fun time. Mm-hmm. It was good, like especially in honors and like taking the colloquium class with Headman.
I liked the colloquium class because, yes, I knew a lot of the people on my floor, but I was also placed on the third floor.
Yeah, which is not
a freshman floor at all. So I didn't know a lot of the freshmen. I knew a lot of the people who were sophomores on that floor. So the colloquium class, I was also like, oh, okay, so these are the people who were in my class that I would just randomly see around sometimes.
Nice. Yeah, it's really fun. All right, 2 more questions.
Okay.
You're doing great. This question, you've taken cost and value, so you might have some thoughts on this. Being in your senior year, what in your experience is the point of college?
So the most general answer would be to get an education.
Lame.
But I think it's also to help you grow as a person. Because, okay, frontal lobe still not fully developed. So you're still learning more about yourself and you're still in the process of engraving your personality and shaping how you act as a person. And I think that college, especially a college where I have so many great community outlets and people to bounce things off of and people with differing opinions to talk to is a great way to shape myself and become not a different person, but a better version of myself. Like, I'm still fundamentally the same person as when I came here, but I have also definitely grown into my own opinions more as I go through college. And I definitely have more shape to what I want to do and who I want to be than I did coming in.
Is there anything...
If that makes sense.
It does. Follow-up is there anything you would have done differently, knowing that now?
I think so. I have always been a little shy, especially when it comes to, not shy, but anxious when it comes to things like auditioning or meeting new people. And I would have liked to be more confident coming into college because I've definitely have gained a lot of confidence. Like, you can ask anybody who watched my first audition in the theater department, or even Dr. Foster says it every single time I go to do something for class and give a presentation. He's like, wow, you were just so much louder than you were freshman year. So if I could do it over, I'd want to start with more, like, focus on building that confidence first rather than it taking so long.
You know,
I don't know if I could do it, but I'd like to try.
That's hard for me to believe because you're the one who came up to me my freshman year. You're like, "Are you Reed?" So,
because I had met your roommate first, because we, living on the third floor my freshman year, we had a whole like horde of sophomores just come by our first night there and say hi and introduce themselves. And so me and Ava and a few other people were like, it'd be so cool to go do that for all the other freshmen because it made us feel really welcome in the building. So I had met your roommate the night before, and he was like, oh, you're a theater major? My roommate's a theater major too. He's like, he's not here right now, but he's tall and he's tall. And that's all I got. And I walked past you. I was like, this person is relatively taller than everybody else I've seen. So I asked.
that was great. And it was pretty confident of you. So kudos to that.
Yeah.
All right. Now for the final question. And I didn't write this question.
Who wrote it?
The previous guest.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Yes, you do. And then you will leave a question for the next guest.
Oh, fun.
She's like, no, it's not. Get me out of here. The previous guest would like to know if there was one hobby or skill you wish you had learned or picked up throughout college, what would it be and why? This is good for you because you have lots of quirky skills.
I do. Let's see. I've picked up a lot of the ones that I want, like that I really wanted to learn recently.
Just in your senior year?
And well, yeah, and last year. Like sewing was a big one for a while because my grandma used to sew. And then last semester I took the class that like taught us how to sew, and I got the basics from costume shop work for Theater 1100. I think maybe something more on the athletic side, like find a sport that I like to play. Because I do like to play sports, but I don't, like, I like tennis.
You play tennis?
I did in high school.
I played tennis in high school.
I love hockey. I'm not a very aggressive person, but I can skate and I can hit the puck. I learned how to do that. But I think something that could have been consistent for me so that I was always like had a physical outlet to go to and could stay, not that I'm like unhealthy, but more healthy.
Yeah. And that's a good thing to think about going out of college because
Yeah.
Like you have to live differently to like maintain healthy lifestyle out of college. It's like, I don't know. I feel like it's easier when you're in college to be healthy.
I think it's harder.
Really?
Well, because I would much rather go to a gym and learn how to use the machines that I don't know how to learn in front of people that I have no idea who they are and they could never see me again, rather than going to the gym and like running into someone I know watching me work out. So I don't go to the gym a lot. But I also think I'm really picky. And then on top of that, there's like certain food groups you need to meet.
Yeah.
And I don't always meet those because we don't always have it available in things that like I will eat. But like sometimes I'll go to CAF and I'll get pizza because I don't like anything else that is there. And so I'm obviously not hitting all my food groups with foods that I like that I can manage eating. But I could do that at home.
That's true.
Because we buy the things that I like in the food groups that I need to eat.
That's good. So maybe you'll be healthier out of college.
Maybe. We'll see.
And then we can start picking up tennis and playing tennis again.
Oh, yeah. Once my knees get better. Got grandpa knees now.
I think I do too. I've been like, because Doug's been making me get down a lot for the show we're doing right now. And it's like every time I get up, I swear they're creaking.
Oh, yes.
But
me too.
I'm told we need to stretch every day. So that's the solution to that, supposedly.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good answer. I'll pass this over to you. You can choose your color, write an question about absolutely anything. Doesn't have to do with anything we talked about today. And then initial it and date it.
Under or on the next one?